Best foreplay for women. Never fails for any woman. Stoicism. What if I told you that 2,000-year-old philosophy holds the secret to creating deeper, more meaningful relationships than any modern dating advice ever could? What if the ancient Stoics, who faced plagues, wars, and the collapse of empires, discovered timeless principles about human connection that most people today completely ignore? I'm about to share with you the Stoic approach to relationships that has helped countless people build stronger bonds, communicate with genuine authenticity, and find lasting fulfillment in love. And by the end of this video, you'll have a complete framework that you can start using today. But first, if you're new here, we explore how ancient wisdom can solve modern problems. So if you're ready to upgrade your relationship, game using philosophy that stood the test of time, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. Section 1, the Stoic Foundation. Before we talk about relationships, we need to understand what Stoicism actually is, because most people get it completely wrong. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless or cold. That's a Hollywood myth. Real Stoicism is about emotional intelligence, self-mastery, and focusing on what you can control while accepting what you cannot. The Stoics built everything around 4 virtues: wisdom, understanding yourself and others; justice, treating people fairly and with respect; courage, being vulnerable and authentic; temperance, self-control, and moderation. Now, how does this apply to relationships? Let me tell you a story. I used to be the kind of person who would get upset when my partner didn't text me back immediately. I'd create entire scenarios in my head about what it meant. Sound familiar? Then I discovered Marcus Aurelius's concept of initial impressions. He taught that our first reaction to any situation is usually wrong. It's colored by our fears, insecurities, and past experiences. When I started applying this principle, everything changed. Instead of assuming the worst, I began to pause and ask, what story am I telling myself right now? Is this story helpful? What evidence do I actually have? This single shift transformed not just my relationships, but my entire emotional life. And that's just the beginning of what Stoicism can do for you. If this resonates with you so far, give this video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. Share this with more people who need to hear it. Section 2, of control in relationships. The most powerful Stoic concept for relationships is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that everything in life falls into 2 categories: things we control and things we don't control. What you control: your words and actions, your reactions and responses, your effort and attention, your growth and development, how you show up each day. What you don't control: your partner's thoughts and feelings, their past experiences, their family dynamics, how they respond to you, whether they choose to stay or leave. Most relationship problems happen when we try to control what we can't control, while neglecting what we actually can control. Let's say your partner is going through a difficult time at work and becoming distant. The non-Stoic approach is to take it personally, try to fix their mood, or demand they open up to you. The Stoic approach? You focus on what you control. You can be consistently supportive without being pushy. You can create a peaceful environment at home. You can work on your own emotional regulation. You can communicate your needs clearly without demands. Here's what's fascinating. When you stop trying to control your partner's emotions and focus on controlling your own response, you actually become more attractive and trustworthy. People are drawn to those who are emotionally stable and secure. Right now, I want you to think about a current relationship challenge you're facing. Write down what aspects you're trying to control that you actually can't control. Then write down what you could focus on instead that is within your control. This simple shift in focus will immediately reduce your stress and make you more effective in your relationships. Section 3, Stoic Communication Principles. Communication is where Stoicism really shines in relationships. The Stoics were obsessed with clarity, truth, and wisdom in speech. They had specific principles that can revolutionize how you connect with others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Listen with the intent to understand, not to be understood." This seems simple, but it's revolutionary. Most people listen just enough to formulate their comeback. Stoic listening means fully absorbing what the other person is saying, understanding their perspective, and responding thoughtfully rather than reactively. Try this in your next important conversation. Before you respond to anything, pause for 3 seconds and ask yourself, what is this person really trying to communicate to me? The Stoics believed in radical honesty, but always coupled with compassion. This means address issues directly rather than letting them fester. Express your needs clearly without manipulation. Give feedback that helps rather than hurts. Admit your mistakes without excessive self-criticism. I once had a relationship where I was afraid to bring up small issues because I didn't want to rock the boat. The result? Those small issues became big resentments, and eventually the relationship ended badly. When I learned Stoic communication, I realized that avoiding difficult conversations isn't kind. It's actually selfish. It prioritizes your short-term comfort over the long-term health of the relationship. Seneca taught that between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space lies your power to choose your response. This is crucial for relationships. When your partner says something that triggers you, instead of immediately reacting, you can take a breath. Notice your initial emotional reaction. Ask yourself, what response would be most helpful here? Choose your words carefully. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means expressing them in a way that creates connection rather than conflict. Section 4. Building emotional resilience. One of the biggest mistakes people make in relationships is expecting their partner to be responsible for their emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches us something different. Emotional resilience is an inside job. The Stoics had this concept called preferred indifference. Things that are nice to have, but don't determine your happiness. In relationships, this might include your partner's mood on any given day, whether they remember anniversaries perfectly, how much affection they show compared to others, their success or failures in other areas of life. These things can be preferences. You can enjoy them when they happen, but they're not requirements for your inner peace. When you're upset about something in your relationship, ask yourself, 1. Is this within my control? If not, how can I accept it with grace? 2. Is this actually harmful or just different from my preferences? Most relationship stress comes from preference conflicts, not actual harm. 3. What would a wise person do in this situation? This removes ego from the equation. 4. How can I use this challenge to become a better person? Every relationship difficulty is an opportunity for growth. Let's say your partner forgets your birthday. The non-Stoic response is to make them feel guilty, question their love for you, or hold on to resentment. The Stoic response: acknowledge that forgetting dates doesn't necessarily mean they don't care. Communicate how you feel without making them wrong. Focus on what you can control. Planning celebrations you want. Clearly communicating your needs for next time. Use it as an opportunity to practice forgiveness and emotional resilience. Emotional resilience isn't built overnight. The Stoics practice daily exercises. Morning reflection. How do I want to show up in my relationships today? Evening review. Where did I respond well? Where could I improve? Gratitude practice. What did my partner do today that I appreciate? Obstacle meditation. How can today's challenges help me grow? Section 5. Stoic love and attachment. Now we get to the deepest part. What does it mean to love someone from a Stoic perspective? This might surprise you, but Stoic love is actually more passionate and committed than regular love. Because it's based on wisdom rather than neediness. Attachment says, I need you to be happy. Love says, I want the best for you, even if it's difficult for me. Attachment creates anxiety, jealousy, and control issues. Love creates security, trust, and freedom. Marcus Aurelius was deeply devoted to his wife, but he understood that true love means accepting the impermanence of all relationships. He wrote, love those who are dear to you, but love them as mortal beings, knowing that you may lose them. This isn't pessimistic, it's liberating. When you truly accept that you can't control whether someone stays in your life, You stop taking them for granted. You appreciate them more deeply. You love them more freely. Stoic love commits to supporting your partner's growth even when it's uncomfortable, accepting them as they are while encouraging their potential, staying present instead of living in fear of the future, choosing love as a daily practice, not just a feeling. Instead of asking, how can I make sure they don't leave me? Or ask, how can I be the kind of person who deserves love and gives love freely? Instead of, what if this doesn't work out? Ask, how can I show up with full presence and commitment today? This shift from scarcity to abundance, from fear to love, transforms everything. Let's wrap this up with the most important point. Stoicism isn't just philosophy, it's a practice. These ideas only matter if you actually apply them. Today we covered the dichotomy of control and how it eliminates most relationship drama, Stoic communication principles that create deeper connection, building emotional resilience so you can love from strength, not neediness, the difference between attachment and true love. Here's my challenge for you. Pick one Stoic principle we discussed today and commit to practicing it for the next week. Maybe it's pausing before reacting, or focusing only on what you can control, or listening to understand rather than to reply. Comment below and tell me which principle you're going to focus on. I read every comment and I'd love to hear about your experience. If this video helped you see relationships in a new way, please share it with someone who might benefit. And if you want more content about applying ancient wisdom to modern life, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Remember, you can't control whether someone loves you, but you can control whether you become someone worthy of love. You can't control your partner's growth, but you can control your own. The Stoics understood something that most people today have forgotten. The strongest relationships are built by strong individuals who choose to grow together. As Epictetus said, no one can hurt you without your permission. This is especially true in relationships. When you master your own mind and emotions, when you focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot, you become unshakable. And that kind of inner strength, that's the foundation of every great relationship. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.